Yes, guys. Today our concept is we are to go back to the our schedule and all. You can see the modules. So in the day four, we have discussed about the multiple types of different types of cyber attacks, right? So today we will be discussing about the social engineering techniques, social engineering attacks. So what are the social engineering and what are the attackers will take these steps and different types of social engineering techniques. So what are the common targets of the social engineering and different types of social engineering attacks and their techniques at last, and we'll be winding our session with cryptography concept. So many people and everyone is curious, everyone is curious about, curious to know about what is social engineering, right? So because we people are here many times about the social engineering, the word social engineering, right? So in simple words, I can say that social engineering is people manipulation art. It is a people manipulation art to trust the person, completely and share their confidential information, right? So that is social engineering. So in another words, we can say that social engineering is art of manipulation. Social engineering is art of manipulation to trick the user mind, to trick the user in giving up their credentials and confidential information. Social engineering is nothing but it's the art of manipulation to trick the user in giving up their credentials and confidential information. So that is social engineering. And so when we are talking about the social engineering, we should bother about the social engineering attacks. Why should we bother about the social engineering attacks? Why should we bother about the social engineering attacks? Because yesterday we have discussed about multiple types of cyber attacks, right? So for every attack there is a countermeasures. So whenever you want to prevent different types of cyber attacks, you can take the security measures and you can implement your inline defenses and all, right? So when it comes to the social engineering, okay, is there any security measure for that? There is no security measure for the social engineering. Only one security measure is there, that is we need to educate the people and we need to aware of the people about social engineering techniques. So that is the only one way we can do the we can prevent the social engineering attacks. So that is the only one way. We need to educate the people and we need to aware them about the social engineering techniques. So usually what attackers will do in the social engineering, okay, so it is a people manipulation to trust the person completely and share the confidential information, right? Yes, usually attackers look for the information. Once they have the information with them, so what they will do, they can trick the people into give their confidential information. So what they will do, they can install the malicious malware, or they can install the malicious malware on the computer and hack it to access private information, right? So that is a basic purpose of social engineering. So that is the definition of social engineering. And when you are move to the next slide, whenever you are performing any cyber attack, okay, whenever attackers perform these cyber attacks, so they will take some tips, right? They will follow some methodology. Okay. So whenever they're performing any network level attacks, any application level attacks, any attacks, they will follow some methodology and they will follow. There will be certain rules for the hackers, right? So they will maintain database and based on that information they will plan for the different types of attacks. So same way when it comes to the social engineering, there is a four phases, that is research the target company and select the target company, and third one is develop the relationship, okay, and fourth one is exploit the relationship. So what will happen in this case? So what is the research about the company, what it means? Yeah. So whenever a hacker would like to perform the social engineering attacks, the very first thing what he will do, he will research the target company. So before attacking the target organization network, the attacker gathers enough information to infiltrate the systems, to infiltrate the networks. So basically, social engineering is one of the technique that helps in extracting the information, right? That helps in extracting the information from the victim. So initially we can say that the attacker research the basic information about the target organization. We can say like, so what type of that, suppose I have selected one organization, right? So now I need to do the research about the company. Okay, so what type of research I will do, like, so what type of that business that company is running. Okay, so the nature of the business and where it is location. Okay, the where it is locating, the location of the company. So how many employees are working over there, number of employees, and a lot of information. We can say multiple, I mean, so much information will be there with the company, right? So that I can gather in the phase of research the target company. So while researching, the attacker indulges in activities. They will be using the multiple techniques in order to gather the information also. Okay, from that company. Step is select the target. Okay, and you can ask the question over here. Already we have selected target company. Then again, why to select the target, right? So here the second phase is select the target. So what it means exactly is, suppose after finishing the hacker's research and all, the attacker selects the target from extracting the sensitive information. Okay, I have collected, suppose let's say I would like to do attack on the infosec train company. So what I will do in the phase of research about the target company, so I will gather the company information like employees details, mail IDs, contact numbers, how many employees are working over there, right. Now I got information from the company. So now I will select the target from that particular company. Okay, so what is the target exactly is, attackers try to reach out we can say that basically the attackers reach the disgruntled employees, let's say ex employees, and disgruntled employees, because they are easier to manipulate, right? So that's why they will be selecting the target. Let's say I have selected so particular type of target, that is HR department. Let's say network operations department. Let's say finance department. So I will select any employee from the particular target based on my goal. Okay, it depends on I mean, when you are talking about the hacker's perspective, it will depends on individual. I mean, it different to everyone, right? So my goal, what I will do, I will select the HR. Otherwise I will select the system administrator, something. So based on my goal, I will select the target. Okay. So what I will do, I will, after selecting the target, we need to develop the relationship. So once the target is set, the attacker build a relationship. Suppose I have selected a HR from that company. So what I will do, I will try to maintain a relationship, and I will try to maintain a relationship with that particular employee to accomplish my task, right? Next, suppose we have maintained a relationship with that particular employee few days, 1 month, based on my need. As much of as information I get, so that I will maintain the relationship. So finally, whenever I feel like this information is enough to attack on the particular organization, right? So at that time, what I will do, I will exploit the relationship. So in the phase of exploiting the relationship, the attacker exploit the relationship and extract sensitive information about the target organization accounts. Let's say I have selected target is finance department. I will extract the information, confidential information about the finance information, and what technologies in use, and what are the upcoming plans of the particular company and all. I can steal, right? So that is exploit relationship. So basically, whenever the attacker is performing the social engineering techniques and attacks and all, so they will follow these kind of methodology, these kind of phases they will follow. So that is about phases of social engineering. Next, we'll move to the our next slide, that is types of social engineering. Yes, you can see on the screen we have three types of social engineering attacks are there. Three types of social engineering: human based social engineering, okay, we can say, and second one is computer based social engineering, and mobile based social engineering, right? So in social engineering attacks, the attacker use their social skills, right? They will use their social skills to trick the victim into disclosing the personal information, right? We can say personal information, confidential information. We can say that credit card numbers, bank account numbers, and phone numbers, right? And confidential information about the organizations or computer systems and network information. So many things will be there, comes under the sensitive information, right? Yeah. So attackers use this data to either launch an attack to commit a fraud. So social engineering attacks are categorized into three categories. Okay, human, computer, mobile, right? So whenever I'm talking to the human based social engineering, okay, when I'm talking about the human based social engineering, okay, human based social engineering involves human interactions. It involves human interactions and acting as we can say that acting as the legitimate person. What attacker will do here, he will act as the legitimate person while interacting with the victim. Okay, the attacker interacts with the particular victim of the target organization to collect sensitive information such as business plans, networks, like we can say for example impersonating. Let's say the best example of human based social engineering is impersonating a particular victim. Let's say when it comes to the human based social engineering, impersonation is one of the technique in order to do the human based social engineering. Yes, here, so what is impersonation? We can say that impersonation, we can say that posing as an important user. Okay, so that we can say that impersonation. So where we can say that the attacker pretends to be a legitimate authorized person, okay, in this impersonation. Otherwise we can say that it will be posing as an legitimate user, posing as an important user. Okay, so that is the impersonation technique. So for example, let's say for impersonation is, hi, let's say, okay, as an attacker, what I will do, hi, this is Srikanth from the finance department. I forgot my forward, I forgot my user ID and password. Can I get it from you? Right? Yes, we get calls from banks. That is yes, yes, user, yes. So these type of attack, I mean these type of techniques attackers will use when they are performing the human based interactions. So you have to remember the keyword whenever you're talking about the human based social engineering, they will be directly interacting with the victim. So while they are interacting with the victim, he will perform as a important user, or he will be posing as a legitimate user, right? In order to in order to make the trust from the victim, he will use these type of techniques. Okay, and sometimes posing as important user, like let's say, hi, this is Srikanth, I am the president of the company. So I forgot my system password. Can I get it from you? Like this, they will call you and they will ask the passwords in the organization environment, right? So this is about human based social engineering. Okay, and so when it comes to the computer based, when it comes to the computer based, so when you're talking about the computer-based social engineering, computer-based social engineering relies on the computers. So when it comes to the human-based, the attackers needs human interaction, right? The person victim interaction should be there in the human-based social engineering. So when it comes to the computer-based social engineering, computer-based social engineering relies on the computers, and we can say internet systems, or which we are carrying out the targeted actions, right? So that is computer based social engineering. And when it comes to the mobile based social engineering, okay, so what is meant by mobile based social engineering? So attackers use mobile applications to carry out the mobile based social engineering. So attackers trick the users by imitating a popular applications and creating a malicious mobile applications with attractive features and submitting them particular type of applications major app stores, right, with the same name. So publishing the what is that legitimate important applications in the major app stores, we can say that mobile based social engineering. So what we'll do whenever you're visiting any app store and all, we will be unknowingly download the malicious app, right? So that whenever you download that kind of applications, that malware will infect your mobile devices. Yes, that comes under mobile based social engineering. Okay, attackers trick the user by imitating popular applications. Suppose we have Facebook application is there. So what attackers will do in the mobile based social engineering attack, they will develop an application same like Facebook with logo and all and blue color, white color and everything. So they will with attractive features, they will put it in the major app stores. So that is hackers will do in the major mobile based social engineering attacks. And we can say system administrators and user and clients, and I can say that vendors of the target organizations, we can say, right? And we can also say that senior executives, right? So a social engineer, the attacker, we can say that the attacker uses the vulnerability of a human nature, am I right? So they will use the vulnerability of a human nature, that is he will use the most effective tool. So that is the only one one of the vulnerability of the social engineering attacks, human nature, vulnerability of human nature, we can say that that is the one of the effective tool attackers will use. Usually people believe and trust others, right? Am I right? So whenever the people are helping us, we'll be definitely trusting them, right? So these now I can say that receptionist and help desk people. So what these people will do, they are ready to help others, right? So basically attackers target service desk or help desk people by tricking them into divulging confidential information about the organization. So in order to extract the information such as phone numbers or passwords, I can say that the attacker first win. So what he will do, first he will win the trust of the individual with the information. Okay. Next, on winning their trust, what attacker will do, he will manipulate them to get valuable information. So receptionist and help desk people are they are ready to share the information. Am I right? So whenever you are contacting, suppose you have visited one hotel, there is a receptionist, right? So their duty is in order to help the. So basically, the attackers will target the receptionist and help desk people because they are ready to help. If whenever we feel like any help, they will ready to help, right? So basically, the social engineer attackers will target the receptionist and help desk people. So when it comes to the technical support executives, so we can say that so the social attackers, I mean the social engineers, the attackers target these type of people. Suppose they will approach the contact technical support executive in order to obtain the sensitive information, right? So like we can say customers, vendors. So that is technical support. Suppose whenever you need technical support, you will call, right? So the attackers will target the technical support executives. So when it comes to the system administrator, so that is mainly the social engineer attackers will target system administrator also, because so the system administrator in organization is responsible for when it comes to the system administrator. So the main aim of system administrator is, so they will be maintaining the systems in our organization, right? So they may have the critical information, right? Like we can say that OS information, admin passwords, right? So that could be helpful for an attacker, am I right? While he planning an attack, so they will target the system administrator. So when it comes to the users and clients, yeah, so attackers could approach users and clients for the target organization in order to gain critical information that could help in executing the attacks. Like we can say pretending to be a tech support person to extract sensitive information. Okay, so when it comes to the vendors and target, this is also same. I mean attackers will find out the vendors of the target organization. They will be contacting them and what type of services they are giving, so what types of security implementations and security solutions they are offering. So they will be contacting the vendors also in order to get the information. And senior executives, so when it comes to the senior executives, attackers could also approach senior executives, right? So various departments like we can say finance, HR, like many departments will be there in the way organization. They will be targeting the senior executives because they are having highly confidential information with them, right? So when we are talking about the vendors of the target organization, let's say so I'm using some SIM solution from the Splunk or IBM QRadar. So whenever I'm using the SIM solutions, I will be getting the support from that particular vendor, right? So whenever the target, I mean attacker target the vendors, they will be relieving some confidential information about the target company. So that may lead to the huge loss, right? So these are the common targets of the social engineering attacks. So there are many. So I have placed a few of them. Okay. Yes. When it comes to the next slide, so economical losses, I can say damage goodwill, loss of privacy, dangers of terrorism, and I can say that temporary or permanent closure of the organization. Let's say economic losses. So competitors may use social engineering techniques. Okay, suppose I'm running one company as a competitor, another one is coming running in one company, right? So as a competitor, he will use social engineering techniques to steal sensitive information such as development plans. Suppose I'm running one hotel. Okay, so my strategy is I would like to serve different types of what is that, curries and all, we can say different types of tiffins and all, and there is a formula for my chutney and all, right? So there will be something for every dish, there is a separate formula, right? So what competitors will do, they will steal the particular formulas and all, they will steal the development plans, and they will steal the marketing strategies, right, of the company, so which can result in the economical loss. So that's why every company will be maintaining the confidential information like their business development plans and their marketing strategies. So that will be a very confidential thing. So we should not expose to the outside world. So that is there is an impact. Okay, and damage to goodwill. Okay, so we can say that for every organization, goodwill is important for attracting the customers. Let's right. So for every organization is having some uh, goodwill, right, in order to attract the customers. So social engineering attackers may damage that type of goodwill by leaking sensitive organizational data. Okay, suppose you people are attending the uh, these type of webinars and all, right? So I am getting the confidential information like your details, your phone numbers, and I can get the information, mail IDs, and where you are working and what you are doing, and all the details I can get it from you, right? So if I expose this type of data to the attackers, so will be lost the goodwill, right? Yeah, so that is one. And when it comes to the loss of privacy, okay, so we can say privacy is major concern, am I right? Especially for big organizations, I mean I can say that big but even small organization also there is need privacy. So if an organization is unable to maintain the privacy of stakeholders of customers, then people can lose trust in the company, right, and they discontinue their business association with the particular organization, right? So that is a loss of privacy. When it comes to the dangers of terrorism, so we can say that terrorism and anti-social elements pose, we can say it will pose a threat to the organization assets. So peoples and property and terrorists may use social engineering techniques in order to make blueprints of their targets and infiltrate the targets. So that is the danger of terrorism. That is also one of the impact we can say, and temporary or permanent closure. So social engineering attacks can cause the loss of goodwill, and we can say that, and there is a chance of temporary and permanent closure of that particular organization, right? So these are the impacts. There will be more impacts, but I have placed few of them. Okay, what are the measures? Now we'll be entering into the different types of social engineering attacks, right? Yes, you can see on the screen, I have mentioned few of the different types of social engineering techniques. So what attackers will do in the every phase of I mean every technique. So we can say shoulder surfing, eavesdropping, tailgating, piggybacking, dumpster diving, fishing, wishing, smishing, whaling, and foaming. So these are the major different types of social engineering attacks, right? Now you can see on the screen shoulder surfing, the diagram, that particular picture it is telling you that answer, right? So you can say that shoulder surfing is looking over someone's shoulder for confidential information, right? So what attackers will do in this type of shoulder surfing? They will, we can say that they will looking over your shoulder and they will get the confidential information. So whenever you see on the second diagram, the attacker is looking at your password, right? So that is shoulder surfing. So when it comes to the eavesdropping, what is mean by eavesdropping? You can see on the screen, I have placed one picture over here. Listening to someone else communication. Okay, suppose you and me, okay, we people are working in one company. Okay, so we are sitting in a cafeteria, we are discussing some company's confidential information, like so what are the upcoming projects, what are the ongoing projects, and what currently our team is doing, so what is the exact task we are doing. So whenever we are discussing the company's confidential information and all, someone is as an attacker, what he will do, he will listen to our conversation. Okay, some listening to someone else communication is known as eavesdropping. When it comes to the next one, next attack, that is tailgating. What is mean by tailgating? For your understanding purpose, for your understanding purpose, I have placed one of the picture over here. Yeah, so what is mean by tailgating? So we can say that following an unauthorized person, following an authorized person to a restricted area. You can see on the diagram. Okay, it means I don't have any authorization to enter into this particular room, but I am following an unauthorized person to enter into a restricted area. So that we can call it as in tailgating. Okay, we can say multiple times we will be at the companies, we will be forgetting our RFI codes, and will be sometimes we forgot, right? So what we'll be doing in this case, we'll be waiting for someone else to come and open that particular door, right? So that is tailgating. Tailgating, we can simply say that following an authorized person to a restricted area. Let's say I am working in a company. Okay, uh, I'm an authorized person to the enter into the HR room or my president room. Okay, so what attacker will do in this case? So whenever the authorized person open the door, the attacker will enter into this particular room, right? So that is tailgating, following an unauthorized person to enter into a restricted area. That is tailgating. So when it comes to the piggybacking, okay, so using someone else authority for backing yourself. Okay, um, we can say that we'll be taking someone help to enter into this particular unauthorized place. So we don't have any access to the particular place. So we'll be taking someone else, some authorized person help in order to do that particular attack. So take using someone else authority for backing yourself is known as piggybacking. Okay, next, what is mean by dumpster diving? So dumpster diving means we can say the name suggests it is looking for dumpster, right? So we can say that let's say some useful things can be found in the trash. Am I right? Some useful things found in trash, right? Dumpster diving means going through someone else's trash, going through someone dumpster, we can say that. Okay, that is dumpster diving. Let's say an example, you people have ordered something from the Amazon or Flipkart something. Okay, so whenever you have ordered something, at the time of delivery, okay, at the time of delivery, what will happen, that particular person, delivery person, will come and submit your package, right? So at that time, so whenever you have taken the item from your particular box, so what you will do, definitely you throw your box, that particular protected box, you will throw it somewhere, right? Or in the dustbin or outside of the your home and all, right? So at that time, what will happen, the attacker will take that particular box. Why he will take that particular box? Because in recent days or every day, we can say that whenever you are ordering something, okay, that particular company will print all your details on that particular box, right? They will print the home address, pin code address, door number, contact details, mail ID, your name, right? So these all details will be printed on that particular box. So whenever the attackers found that particular box, what he will do? He will start doing the social engineering attacks. So that is dumpster diving. Going through someone else's trash is known as dumpster diving. So here we are doing nothing but we will be creating fake web pages like any malicious page. I will be creating one malicious page and where user can submit their credentials. Okay. So I will be creating some malicious page of Instagram login page. Okay. I will send that link to the users. So whenever the user click on that particular links and whenever the user submit their credentials, in same way I will be getting the that particular credential what user has submitted, right? So that is phishing. And when it comes to the smishing, what is mean by smishing? You can see on the diagram, who are using the internet, who are using the smartphone, everyone will get this type of smishing techniques, smishing messages. It means phishing over SMS. Like we can say your account has credited with this much of amount, so in order to check your balance you just click on this particular link. So these type of messages will be receiving, right? Yes, KYC update and one lottery or tour. Yes, these type of messages will attack the users. These type of messages will come to our end, right? So that is smishing. Yes, Ashad, own a car. Yeah, every day we will be getting, right? So that is phishing techniques. Phishing of executives over top level people in the organization like CEO and vice president, like this. They will concentrate, they will target the high level, top level people of the organization, president, CEO, like. So these type of people are the victims of the whaling. Yeah, that is whaling. And when it comes to, because when they are targeting these kind of people, so that means they will be getting the huge amount of information, huge amount of sensitive information. And because they people and that people are running the organizations, right? So they are in the trap, means the organization in their hand, right? Yes, particularly top level management. Yes, Pratik. So that is whaling. So when it comes to the farming, so what is mean by farming? So what will happen in this farming attack? So imagine you land on a website you visit frequently, because we will be using LinkedIn, right, every day. Okay, we will be using Facebook and all, right, every day. Yeah. So you land on a website which you are using frequently. Okay, like your online banking page. Every day we'll be using online banking also, right? So how do you know that that is legitimate and not convincing lookalike, right? It means in a farming attack, what will happen? You might be misdirected at any time, and you won't even notice it also. So then everything you will type, that attackers will receive. So that is farming. So when it comes to the farming is a type of, we can say that attack, uh, cyber attack. We can say which hacker redirects a victim's traffic from the virtual website to a fake website. Yes, Shamil, website to a different fake site. So that is farming. So there are two ways to do it: by infecting computers and changing their host files. So there are two ways in order to perform the farming. The one way is by infecting the computers and changing their host files. Yes, or infecting a DNS server and letting it serve victim DNS request. So that is the one of the way of in order to do the farming. Host file is nothing but let's say, so whenever you type www.google.com, okay, so whenever you hit on the enter, what will happen? The next step, it will check the host file. Okay, the host file is in our system, where it is in our C drive. It will be there in the program files. You can check it out in system32 folder. It will be there. So whenever you type www.google.com, it will, very first thing, it will go to the, it will check the particular start host file in our system. The host file contains static entries of the DNS information. Okay, so by poisoning the particular host file, we can do the farming, because we are diverting the traffic of legitimate traffic into the malicious site. So that is farming. Next, here you can see different types of phishing tools. We'll be having some practical. We'll see by using any one tool. We'll try to create one phishing link and we'll be sending to someone else. So what information we will get, right? So we'll steal credentials also. There is a practical on the phishing attack. We'll see after the break. So these are the mails. The first link, you can see that in order to send the fake emails, we'll be using this one. And I will show you in once. I will show you. Wait a second, guys. It is loading. You can see on the screen, the website has loaded. So what I will do as an attacker, I will do like, we can say that from name, like I will type HR. Okay. So HR@Infosys. Okay. Infosys.com. So I will create a mail like this and I can send it to the any victim. And I will mention over here, we can say offer letter. Yeah, I can attach a malicious file also over here, and you can type text as a legitimate text. You can cite it, you can type over here, and you can send it to the any user. So there will be advanced settings. You can mention multiple mails. So there is need not to give genuine emails. If you give any mail also, like HR@infosys.com, you can type any email that will reflect on this in same way. And you can priority also you can give, and you can give multiple options, like see different options we have. So confirm delivery and confirm reading, everything you can give. Okay, yes, this is a website where you can send the fake emails to the victims. So this is the one of the way. And there is a website called Spoofbox. Yeah, here you can see on the screen, Spoofbox. By using this website, here you can see you can spoof the SMS, you can spoof a call, and you can spoof a email, fax, chat, fake WhatsApp message, fake iMessages. So but certain limit it will be free. After that we need to pay for particular services in order to access. So this is the one of the website. So you want me to show the fake, you can see this message. I would like to show them. Okay, email practice, I will show something high. Okay, whenever you sending it. And I request everyone, whenever you're typing your mail IDs, and in order to check whether it is working or not, so don't give your personal email IDs and company email IDs. So try to give another work emails, like another, I mean, you can practice purpose, you can create a mail. Okay, and if you want to create, I mean, temporary email, if you want temporary email, you can go for this website, tempmail.org. So this is the website where you can get a mail, temporary mail. Okay, you can use that mail. Yes, this website will provide temporary email. Okay, that will be displayed whenever you open the page. That mail will appear over here. Different types. Dynamically, they will update the mail IDs over here. You can use the temporary mail IDs. Wait a sec. Yeah, it is loading. So meanwhile, you can see this. These are the one of the mail. Okay, when I'm sending it. Yes, you can see over here. Yeah, you can find it. You can copy this clip ID, clipboard, and whenever you send any verification email, also you will be getting in this inbox over here. You are having your temporary email ID and you are having your inbox also. You can get it over here. Okay. So that is the one of the way of using temporary email IDs. So don't ever give your personal email IDs and your Gmail accounts. Don't give any website. Okay. And so you can also send fake emails here. So sometimes it will take some time in order to load this type of message mails and all. So whenever you are registering these kind of websites, don't give your personal mail ID. Okay. Okay, guys. And there is one more website we have, Crazy Call. Yes, email sent successfully over here. You can see. We'll check the inbox of my mail. Another email. See, HR. You can see in the mail ID also, hrinfosys.com. And as the attacker, I can frame perfect body message and the title heading. Even I can create what is that total template also as Infosys mail legitimate mail ID. So I can create any mail ID and I can send it to the particular victims. So what victims will do? So whenever they receive the email, definitely if there is any click, they will definitely click that, right? So you will give it in the information from the users. You can see address. So this mail you can use, and this is the temporary mail. And there is a website called Crazy Call. Crazy Call. Crazy Caller. Yes, you can spoof your caller ID and voice changer, and you can spoof your voice also. There is a website called Crazy Call, but it's not free. You need to pay for that. I think you can use this website, and so these are the few website. And there is also one website we can go fish. There is a tool called GoFish. Yes, open source fishing framework. Yes, you can download it, but don't download in your base machines. You can use your virtual machines in your VMware workstation. You can download it in a Parrot or Windows 7, any virtual machine. So don't download it to your what is that, base machine. So you can download it and you can use this framework GoFish. So in this, what you can do, you can explore a lot of things over here. You can send the, you can perform the attack, and you can monitor how many people are clicking on that particular link, how many people are submitted the credential, and what they are submitted. Everything you will get over in the GoFish application. Okay, so that is advancement of phishing emails, GoFish. And we have also OFish. OFish is nothing but that is EC Council tool. That is OFish in order to perform the this type of social engineering attacks, phishing attacks, and okay. So there is a tool called in our Linux machines, Linux environment. Yes. So the tool name is SE Toolkit, Social Engineering Toolkit. And when you type SE Toolkit and when you hit an enter, yes, we got few options over here. See, the first option is social engineering attacks. You can select one. I'm just setting up one. You just hit a enter. See, so what are the possible, I mean, what are the types of attacks we can do over here? And there is a website attacks vectors, spear phishing. Yes, I will select website attack vectors. Okay, now what I will do, I would like to do webjacking attack method. I will select 5, and there is a 3 options called web template, site cloner, custom import. We can clone our site, right? Now what I will do, I will select 2 options. I would like to clone the website. Now you can see on the screen it is asking the IP address. So what IP address you should give? You can give the your Parrot IP address. Your IP address you can give it over here: 192.168.18.129. Yes. So when you type your IP and address and when you hit on enter, yes, enter the URL to clone. Now I would like to clone the Facebook, because many people are, everyone is having the Facebook account, right? I would like to give the Facebook account. Why I'm giving the Facebook account? Because the user will give their credentials over there, right? Username and password, right? So what I will do, I would like to clone the website of Facebook, www.facebook.com. Okay, when I hit an enter, wait a second. Yes, now in my browser what I will do, I will type my IP address, whatever I have given, 192.168.18.129, right? Yes, this is the IP address. Reminder and feedback link. Yeah, definitely, Navin. Give a second. Yeah, thank you, Navin. Yeah, 129. So why I'm giving this link? Because we have already entered the IP address of our machine, right? So why I'm giving this IP address here? In order to create a fake malicious link. So when I'm just hit and enter, see, you can see on the screen there is a link, right? So this is the malicious link, and you can just copy it and you can send it to the whom you want to send. You can send it to the anyone. So whenever the users, whenever the person who have received this particular link, the particular victims, whenever they click on this particular link, what will happen? See, there is a Facebook login page, right? So when you user enter any mail address like username and passwords, okay, yeah, you can see on the screen the genuine Facebook page came, right? So in front of us, the genuine Facebook page has displayed. So what user will think? So whatever the details I have entered, something I have entered incorrectly, that's why it is asking again. Okay, so general will think in that way, right? So but you have entered your genuine credentials over here, right? So when you go back to your Parrot, you can see on the screen, the email is Srikanth I have entered and the password I have entered 129. See on the screen. right? So generally, whenever you are clicking on the malicious link and whenever you submit the details, the Facebook genuine page has opened, right? So what will think? Definitely, okay, we have entered something incorrectly. That's why it is asking again, right? So we will think in that way, but already the attack has happened and your credential has stolen by the hacker. You can see on the screen. So did I got credentials over here, right? So this is the one of the way of we can create and we can clone your websites and we can send it to the user and we can grab them, we can steal their credentials. So this is the one of the way of doing the cloning them. So these are the phishing tools, right? These are the phishing tools, the basic phishing tools I have just mentioned over here. There are lot many tools are there in order to perform the phishing attacks and social engineering attacks. So these are the few of them, okay? And when you go back to the countermeasures, right? So the beginning of the class only, I have already I told that the very first thing we need to aware of the social engineering techniques and all, right? We have to train the individuals on the security policies, right? And we need to implement proper access privileges also, and the presence of proper incident response time. So there are many countermeasures out there. You can see. So background check and proper termination process and antivirus, anti-phishing defenses. So there are lot many are there. So these are the countermeasures you can see. And when you go back to the cryptography, what is mean by cryptography, guys? So the word cryptography means, crypto means secret, right? And graphy means science of writing, right? So it is came from the Greek word, we can say. So it is nothing but science of writing. Okay, we can say that cryptography is secret science of writing. So when you bring the data security into the picture, the cryptography came into the picture. Okay, so when you talk about the data security again, there will be two words. One is covert, one is overt. Covert means that is closed, overt means that means open, right? So when we need data security, the cryptography came into the picture. Covert was one type, okay? So covert was one type of the data security and of data security, okay? So when you're talking, it means, so there will be, and so if you write something on the screen, like you can see the whatever the technology and whatever the what is the data security has implemented, you can see by looking at particular things. Suppose let's say there is a one word is there, Srikanth, let's say my name, okay? If I write that particular format in different way, like I just miscramble the words from, I mean, I just keep that S in the back and I will just keep that word K in the front, okay? So I can see the data security is happening in front of me, right? So that is overt. So when you're talking about the covert, covert means close. So I can say that covert comes under steganography. So what is steganography, guys? So in the cryptography, we have encryption, encoding, hashing, digital signature, digital certification. Yeah, right. So before we are talking about the cryptography, these concepts, encryption, encoding, hashing, and digital signatures and digital certificates. So what is meant by steganography? Steganography is practice of concealing a message within a another message or a physical object. Okay, so we can suppose I would like to send a image to the another person. Okay, yes, hiding the message in a particular image, right? And I would like to send this some confidential information about the company. So what I will do, I will hide that information inside the image and I will send it to the another, so no one will recognize. That is the steganography. Okay, and when you're talking about the cryptography, plain text, what is mean by plain text, guys? Plain text is nothing but message to be encrypted, right? So when you're talking about the ciphertext, that is encrypted message. Ciphertext means encrypt. So ciphertext means encrypted message. So what is mean by encryption? What is mean by encryption? Encryption is nothing but process of converting plain text into ciphertext is known as encryption, right? And what is meant by decryption? So what is meant by algorithm? So algorithm is basically we will be using in the cryptography techniques in order to used to encrypt or decrypt the plain text, we will be using the algorithms. So what is meant by algorithm? Algorithm is a method which is used to encrypt or decrypt the plain text. Okay. And when you're coming to the key, so whenever you're talking about the cryptography, there will be keys, right? So what is meant by key? So the data is used to encrypting or decrypting. So whenever you are encrypting or decrypting, so we will be using the keys, right? So there are various cryptographic algorithms are present. So we can say that symmetric cryptography and digital signatures. So what is meant by digital signatures? So digital signatures are basically used to identify the genuinity of the source. Okay, the sender signs with this private key and the receiver, it can be decrypted with the, let's say when you're talking about the digital signature. Okay, let's say I have sent a data with the private key. At the other end, the receiver, it can read by decrypting the message with the public key. Okay, so that is the digital signature. This, what is the purpose of digital signature is it enables the receiver to know who the person who has sent this messages. Okay, that is a basic purpose of digital signatures. Yes, hashing. What is meant by hashing? Yes, when you're talking about the hashing, the integrity will come into this picture, right? So in order to check the file integrity, right? Yes, Jaswender, yes. So in order to check the file integrity, suppose I have sent a one file. Yes, whenever I'm sending a file, I will attach the hash of it. Suppose I would like to send one file. Whenever I'm sending, along receiver end, along the file, he will check that hash. We are talking about the hashing, right? Yes, we'll be sending the, whenever we are sending the file, we'll be sending the hash of the data. So whenever the receiver end, after receiving the file, he will compare that hash. If the hash is same, means there is no attack is happened. If the hash is something, if there are hashes changed, means some file has changed something. So that is hashing. And when you're talking about the encoding, yeah, we can say that what is encoding? So encoding is defined as the creation of conversion of message, creation of creation, we can say that, and conversion of a message or information into coded form. Okay, coding is a program that we can say that information to the format issued by the certain protocols, right? So every we can say having an encoder is not enough, right? The encoder needs to form the message simply and understandably so that the receiver gets easily, right? So that's why we will be using the decoding. Okay, decoding is defined as the understanding and interpretation of the message formed by the encoder. So that is the basic purpose of decoding. So the total process is carried out by the decoder. Okay, and so when we're talking about the encoding and decoding and all, encoding is referred as creating or coding a message in understandable form. Okay, so when we are talking about the decoding, decoding is referred as interpreting or coded message. Interpreting the coded message is known as decoding. Here, when you're talking about the complexity of the encoding, it is a simpler process. So when you're talking about the decoding, the complexity of the decoding is, it is a complex and it involves the interpretation of the codes. And when you're coming to the digital certificates, so digital certificate is a file electronic password that proves the authenticity of a device, authenticity of the device like server or user through the use of cryptography and public key infrastructure. Okay, and a digital certificate authentication will be there. And what is this digital certificate authentication? Okay, so what it will do, it helps the organization, it will help the organization to ensure that only trusted devices and users can connect to their networks. That's why they will be using the digital certificate authentication in order to trusted devices and users can connect to their networks. So another common use of, we can say, digital certificate, another use is to confirm the authenticity of a website, to confirm the authenticity of a website to a browser. So that is another advantage of what is that, digital certificate. Okay, let's say authenticity of your website, right? So these are, and when coming to the benefits of digital certification, so digital certificates can be requested by the individuals and organizations, am I right? Suppose I am running a website, okay, I will request the digital certificate, right? And they will provide the information to be validated and publicly through certificate signing request. The procedure will be there, and who will be giving this digital certificate, right? Certificate authority people will give in the these type of certificates. And like we have different types of certificates when coming to the digital certificates: TLS, SSL certificate, right? And client certificates. There are a lot of certificates, right? And benefits of digital certificates, we can say that security is the main reason, and scalability, authenticity, reliability, and public trust, we can say that. Suppose whenever you are visiting any website, so if the site is HTTPS, okay, it means you can trust that, right? So there is a lot of benefits are there in order to use the digital certificates. So that is the main purpose. So when coming to the difference between the digital certification, digital certificate and a digital signature is, um, suppose let's say a digital certificate is a file, we can say that that is a file that verifies the identity of a device or identity of a user, right? And enables the encrypted communications. And digital signature is a hashing approach. Digital signature is a hashing approach. It uses what it will do, it will use the numeric strings to provide authenticity. It provide authenticity and validity and validate identity. When it comes to the digital signature, is typically fixed, we can say that it is a fixed to a document or fixed to the email, and it is a fixed to the particular email, and we will be using the cryptographic keys over here. The signature is hashed here, okay? And when recipient receives it, it performs the same hash function to decrypt the message. So that is the digital signature and digital certificates. And when coming to this steganography, you want me to show any practical and steganography? So how to hide the information behind the what is that image and all? You want me to show any practical on the steganography? Yeah, you can see on the screen, I have opened one text file. Okay. So these are the, let's say, just assume these are the confidential information of the company. Okay. So these are the confidential information of the company: account number, IFSC, CVV details. Let's say some of the confidential information. So what I will do in this case, I will use I will hide this information in this image, and I will send this image to the another person outside of the company. Okay. So for this, what we will do, yes, see, so there is a folder called test. Okay. So there is a confidential information file is there. I would like to copy this confidential information file in this image. Okay. So after copying this file, so there is new image will be created. Okay. So see here in the text, I would like to copy the image of the particular image, this confidential.txt content I would like to store in this image file, so that it will be created new file, that is jcb.jpg. Okay, I would like to create one file. When I hit an enter, see in the here you can find the jcb file over here. Yes, are you able to see on the screen jcb file? Now your doubt is, yes, we can identify, right? How can we identify? Go to the properties, and you can see the original file image, 839 KB. Okay, go to the this one. There is a properties 839 KB. Okay, both images, but you have secretly hidden your confidential information into this image, right? So how can check? Go to the photo and you can just right click and open it. So when you open the particular file, open with Notepad, and you can find the confidential information in this file. Yes, you can see these are the information I have stored in this image, and I have created new image. So if I send this image, to anyone, so they won't able to identify, right? So I have stored this confidential information in this file, and I can send it to anyone. So that is steganography, hiding the information into the image file and sending to the outside of the company, means we can say the steganography. Basically steganography has developed for the data security purpose, we can say. Okay, yeah. So this is the confidential information. Okay, so in this confidential information I have just assume that, okay, I have mentioned few confidential information in this text file. Okay, so there will be an image. Okay, let's say this image, first image. Okay, so what I will do in this case, now my agenda is I would like to hide the information of this confidential file. Okay, so if I send directly to the anyone confidential information file, everyone will notice it, right? So what I will do in this case, I will hide this information inside this image. Okay, so that's why what I have done over here, when you go back to the command prompt, yes, I just copied, use the command is copy /b the original file, original image, confidential data, and plus I'm adding the confidential information to this particular file, txt, and new file has been created. Okay, so if you want to show me one more means, yes, in the place of JCB you can give any name. Okay, Harish, let's say harish.jpg, right? Harish.jpg. When I hit an enter, see how many images in my folder here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There is no Harish image file. So what I will do when I hit an enter, yes, new file has copied in that folder. You can see when I refresh it, yes, you can see on the screen there is a Harish file is there. Okay, when you click on it and you can open with Notepad, yes, you can find the information below of the file. You can see account information, IFSC details, card details, CPP details, everything. We can, whatever the data you want to hide, you can hide it. And so when you physically, I mean, when you're by looking at the images, the say both files, what is that size will be same. So it is not possible to by seeing looking at the file, right? So I have used this steganography technique in order to hide the information in front of this. So -b directs the command interpreted to read the number of bytes specified by the file size. Yes, then this is the one of the way in order to hide the information.